Hey everybody, I had to drag myself out of bed to come into my living room and document another vision. And I know I'll catch flack for this if my wife shares it with anybody because it does sound far-fetched. I should have looked at the date before I started. It'll be on the details, but this is October of 2020. I know my birthday's coming up in a couple weeks. So this is about the middle. But several visions I keep having. God keeps showing me to teach people to be careful with food supplies. In some visions, it's almost like the old days where people are salt curing slabs of pork or venison. It's caused me to even honestly look up YouTube videos and see how I could cure quarters of beef or venison or hog, because I can do all that stuff. I can hunt and fish and live off the land. That's something that I've done before. My first ranch was 1,100 acres. I didn't own it, but it was land that I leased and was mine at the time. But as I was taking care of all that land and low income, it was my lifestyle to just live off the land. And I know a lot of people can't do that, but I just keep seeing, like in some visions, I even saw almost like somebody having their hand up, stopping trucking from it was almost like I saw this miles and miles and miles, like this long line of semi trucks, I guess representing the food supply, and like a plan to stop it is the way I interpreted this vision. And I mean, it was almost like this line went across the country. It was that big. I guess it was just showing me that large scale of a plan. And the plan was to literally stop the essentials, like almost like we would be put into a time of rationing milk and bread and things that people panic over every time they hear there's any kind of weather or storm or anything. The shelves are empty because everybody goes into a panic. But I've never been one of those people that have ever bought up buckets of dry goods, those late night infomercials where you see people buying 2 years supply. I've never been one of those guys. But as many visions as I keep having of evil plans to disrupt our food, it was almost like in one vision I saw an elite group of people laughing and making fun of all of us normal people. And they were literally charting out plans to destroy crops, force farmers to destroy crops in one vision. And I never saw the why, but they kept saying, you have to destroy your crop, don't take it to market. And I couldn't understand what the reasoning behind it was. But I literally saw farmers, just some, not all, in this vision, some jumped right up and said, okay, I'll go mow it down. And they just annihilated millions and millions of pounds of produce and food for people that'll never hit the grocery stores, because that was part of this plan. I saw in that same vision toxic things. Like normally you'd hire a crop duster to spray for insects or bugs. But in this one vision, I saw the crop duster come across, and as he would fog, the crops would just wither and just die. Almost like, and again, I don't know why, but it was clear as day, and it's been more than one, it's been multiple. God keeps showing me that food supply is going to be attacked. In one vision that I only got part of, and just to be honest, y'all, I know you guys see my hesitation when I share these things, because I don't always understand. Number one, I don't understand why God would show me these things. Why wouldn't God use somebody with a big platform, a TV show, or somebody that everybody knows? And I don't understand it, but I want to be obedient. And I want to always document when God shows me these things. But I saw smoke rolling out of factories, and not up chimneys, but like semis were backing up to factories to pick up food to take to the grocery stores. And when the doors came open for the trucks to be loaded, smoke came out. I don't understand it all. But I did see in every one, it wasn't an accident. It was planned. This rich elite group plans to come after our food sources. So I gotta end this. I can't make too long of videos or they won't save. So anyway, I wish I need to start writing down all the details so I can cover every point. But I know God has shown me this so many times. I know they're coming after our food sources. The same way I saw a crop duster spraying crops with poisons. It wasn't pesticides. It was something to destroy the food. And then in another vision, I saw like in a meat factory. I know my dad's got one in his town. And I'm not calling that company out. I'm saying I saw a meat factory kind of where beef was everywhere, and there was like all these people in white, I always say hazmat looking, scientist looking outfits, and they were going around and they were pouring stuff on meat. They were almost like whenever I make Thanksgiving turkey, I love injecting it, basting it on the outside, but I also like injecting butter and seasonings into the meat. And that's what I kept seeing them. They were all, just hundreds of them, putting stuff inside the meat in the same vision. So I don't understand it all, but I know something's coming against our food. It's a plan. And I'm not saying this is going to happen this year. God doesn't always tell me a timeline. He just shows me stuff. And I just try to document it, and then I get made fun of for it. But smoke rolling out of food factories was I mean, it really didn't cause me fear. I always it's so hard to explain, because I'm not afraid of anything. Like, God's been so faithful, so real. I know if they took all of our food and locked the grocery store tomorrow, God would provide manna from heaven for his people. So I never fear, I never worry. But I want people to at least be educated and eyes opened, and stop believing everything you're told. Dear God, please stop believing everything you're told. because they own all the same search engine sites and news channels, and everywhere you could get your research most of the time anymore is stuff they've already manipulated. So I beg people, spend more time in prayer. Spend more time getting with God rather than feeling like you're doing your research. Because the more God reveals to me, the more I see that there's very little truth out there to even find. So the more research you do, a lot of times is the more false information you're ingesting, and it will sway your mind even more. So I would rather spend more time in prayer and fasting and seeking God's face. But just know that God's people never have anything to fear. Stay close to God. Pray over your family. Keep taking all your supplements and vitamins and keep your immune system the way God intended it. A lot of fruits and antioxidants and vitamin C, D, zinc, huge things. But God's way is always best. The natural way is always best. But I'm not against, at this point in my life, I'm not against people start investing in food, dry goods that don't go bad. I think I'm praying hard, and I talked to my wife a lot lately about, I really feel led that if God would open something up for me to be able to get more land, I feel led to open up a refuge, a safe haven, a place for God's people, for the remnant, to know that if everything else, if the bottom dropped out of society, that believers could know there was a place that they could go and own a little corner of land for their family, raising their gardens, their food. But I don't know why, but I keep feeling like God is going to put me into a position soon, over the next few years even, where I can have land again like I used to. Because if I could get my hands on land, then God's people would have nothing to fear. I could build greenhouses and grow gardens and dig giant fish ponds that I could make sure there was sustainable food. So if anybody knows of any land that somebody might lease for 50 years or even donate part of it for our ministry, I really believe that day's coming before long. I'm going to have to step forward into that faith movement. But for now, they're coming after the food. I don't know how else to tell you that. And for people that still don't believe this was planned, I promise you it was. God showed me in 2019, before it ever even happened. God gave me their names. I wish to God more people would listen, but all I can do is be faithful on my end, and then it's between them and God. But I promise y'all, this is planned. All this is planned. There's more coming. This first thing that they did is not the end of it. I literally, God even showed me that there's going to be multiple like twists of this same thing. And I got to be careful with what I say, because they delete my videos if I say the wrong word. But this was planned. I promise you it was planned. And God showed me that a year before it even happened. Told me where it was coming from, the name of the country, the name of the city laboratory, and even told me the exact thing they were even going to blame it on. And all that was recorded in a video a year before it happened. God doesn't do that for nothing. There's a reason why he's showing us this stuff. So I'm asking God's people to have faith. Don't have faith in me. Have faith that I'm not the only one receiving these visions all the way around the world. My wife has had 2 or 3 times now people have sent other videos of other people giving a vision or prophecy, word for word, of what God gave me. And that helps. It does. I mean, honestly, because to me, in my flesh, it validates. In my spirit, I have no need for validation. I know what God shares with me. But it helps in my flesh to see there's other people getting these same words. Anyway, I love y'all so much. Please don't dismiss this. Keep praying. The remnant's rising. God's people need to stand up. I love y'all.